Hey, this is Buddha Ninja. We're listening to Metallica Fade to Black for some reason. Make you nice and depressed. I did a comparison video of the Dark Eagle and the Theta 2. And I would actually like to compare the Theta 2 and the Asn4g, but I think it would be better to probably do against the Dark Eagle. So that's what we're going to do. So we are going to pull up here we go. Dark Eagle. Whoops. That's not what we want. That's what we want. And we're going to go the Asn4g nuke. And we're going to compare these and kind of take a look and see which one's better. We compared the Dark Eagle and the Theta 2, and in my opinion, the Dark Eagle won. This is another one of the top missiles. So let's compare them and let's see. Surface. Ignores decoys. Underwater launch. None of that. Manual. Damage per minute. Here we go. Burst damage, 8,000 more. Damage, 7,800 more. Reload, this is where the Asn4g is really good. It's at 7. It's about 1 second different. Acquisition time, the Dark Eagle got it. Now, this is why I wanted to compare these two instead of the Theta, because the Theta has none of these stats. So we are going to compare the Dark Eagle to this nuke. So detonation radius 33, area damage 1,000 versus 1,500. So for the Dark Eagle being a normal missile, it's pretty strong. Explosion radius is 133 versus 333. So even though the nuke does get it on most of these stats, the Dark Eagle's at least hanging in there, whereas the Theta 2 doesn't. We're going to go over the flight altitude, and this is where the Dark Eagle just wins. The Dark Eagle goes high. The Asn4g, it's low. And sometimes it will crash into islands or the water if you have the wrong kind of boat. It does crazy stuff. So, for a more reliable missile, the Dark Eagle will win that. Range, Dark Eagle has it, not by much though. Speed of the Asn4g has it a little bit. Initial speed, Dark Eagle has it by 194 versus 145, but the Asn4g still does beat the Theta 2. And I'll probably do a comparison video after this just to compare them. Acceleration time, 3.17 versus 2.5. Durability is 300 versus 250. Ammunition 18 versus 18, and firing penalty is 40. So we got the Dark Eagles doing more damage than the nuke. Does area damage, not as much, granted. But the thing is, the flight altitude is what wins this, hands down. It's just versus the low altitude, and half the time not half the time, it doesn't happen that much, but you have to be wary of your missile, whereas the Dark Eagle isn't providing that worry for you. So here we go again. Dark Eagle seems to win in my book. I don't know about you, but it's pretty obvious the Dark Eagle's becoming one of the best missiles. So I would like you to have a great day, a great night, and I'll make one more video comparing the Asn4g with maybe the Theta, just to have the comparison there. But I want you guys to have a good day. If you have any questions, hit me up.